Hi, I'm Hashim Halim, the General Manager of Saturn Atelier, and today is Saturnday, and every second week in March, second Saturday in March, I sit down and go over the wins, failures, just kind of recap the past year, the goals of the past year. If you remember, this weekend last year was right before COVID really shut everything down, so I had no idea what we were going with. Last year's topic was finding flow. That was the directive for last year. It was like, how am I going to streamline my process and really figure out what Saturn means in practice. So COVID kind of threw that for a loop and really tested that. But I think we've come up with some solutions and some ways of working to really address that. But just to go through the past year wins and failures. So we're finding flow. We had just monetarily, we won with COVID, the Flovid 20 masks. That made a sale. The Frederick, Maryland house, that project unfortunately hasn't come to be built. The Mint Hill house, that project hasn't been built, but both of them were my first two architectural drafting projects for under the Saturn banner. And later on, around January, we won a competition for Camp North and Keswick Pavilion, Charlotte, North Carolina. So that was very exciting. Paid handsomely for it, and just able to really blast off the momentum for Saturn Atelier, the makerspace, with that win, just coming on the heels of opening the space. So that was awesome. Another win, we partnered with an undisclosed company to work on making with reused plastic. Can't disclose the details of it, but that was really cool that they reached out and sought Saturn out as a place where they could test, do some research and development into making products out of recycled plastic. Hope to continue that more and get really good on that in the coming year. Any other wins? The wedding. I mean, I was running all over the place. Personal life. I got married in October, so made furniture for that. Made a vest, shoes. Just made a whole bunch of stuff. So that took a lot out of the production of Saturn proper, which is fine. Because everything I was making, I was learning through. So that's always the goal. Saturn's experimental. But yeah, that was the recap of the wins. Failures for the year. I had a goal of 6 shoes. I made 1 pair of shoes, so that was a fail. Obviously things got in the way, and honestly took some time off as COVID really started hitting. I just wasn't feeling that creative. Just glued to the news. And by the time I got up and running, it was wedding time. So, and also finishing the architectural projects, which just kind of take a whole different creative energy from you. You can't really do more than one thing, 2 things at once. Also having another time commitment. Let's see. Set up the atelier. That was a win. Fully up and operational. Pretty much all the equipment I could want I have at this point, it took a while, and just been so fortunate this year, just financially. The goal of Saturn is always to operate in the black, always operate without credit. It's been difficult, but getting all this equipment and not owing anything on it is amazing. It's a dream. Like some of the equipment I have now, it's like I didn't even think I would get it this year or maybe by the end of the year, but things just keep breaking right, and I hope to continue that. It's just been a blessing, and that's why I desire so much to share the space with people, because I know how it is to be on your back, and not very far from being on my back again. It's not, you never know what life can throw at you. So just want to celebrate the wins when we have them. So Citizen Spotlight, that was a fail. Still continuing to want to make that a thing. I wanted to highlight citizens around the Charlotte community, give them a grant. We'll talk about that more in goals for next year, but I didn't spearhead anything like that. Workshops, didn't do any workshops. Obviously COVID made everything very strange in that regard, and honestly the shop wasn't really ready. I mean, it's just now coming online to the point where I would want to open it up to for people to host workshops. Plastic research, definitely a win, got better at that. Especially working on that project pushed me in directions that I didn't really know what I was doing, but I got some skill there. And paper prototype, I wanted to get into paper making, just never happened. Didn't have a need for it. Really, I want to push that. I think it'd be a great opportunity to have a paper product, to recycle all the cardboard, recycle grass, recycle, and just come up with a solid product to use. But that was last year, and 2021, we're here. We're beautiful space, furnished, ready to go. I'm in the vignette space right now. Got the computer, got the work desk, got the printer, got the storage, got all the utensils I could want for people to come in and use. So 2021, the theme is adjacency. So with the vignette space, with the charrette space, with the maquette space, and with the Derrida Design Library, it's all about potential of running into things like, say you want to use the vignette space to do a sketch, but you see this fabric staring at you. What does that mean? How does that affect your life now? So it's just about putting design elements or mediums through design next to other mediums that aren't necessarily related to each other, and seeing what can happen with that. So just trying to bridge that and bring curiosity to people and see what iterations can happen when you have the tools. We all have great minds, we all can sharpen our creativity, but if you don't have the tools, it's hard to really iterate on top of that. So that's really the theme for this year. The Saturn specific goals, I want to get very good at making shoes this year. Very good. I've definitely taken a step back. I haven't made a new design for shoes in over a year. Executed a new design for shoes. I've sketched a bunch, but executed a new design for shoes, it would be great. So I want to get 10 shoes done this year. I want to make a solid plastic fastening mechanism, just derive it, do some research, maybe with some bends, some flexion, something like that, refining HDPE versus LDPE versus polypropylene, and just really getting a refined plastic fastener that's completely Saturn designed would be awesome. Expertise, I want to, right now I would say I'm talented at design. I'm not an expert at anything though. And I think the strength of Saturn can come from being a point of contact for knowledge. Like right now, it's general knowledge, architecture, studying architecture, growing up in architecture. You get used to knowing a little bit about a lot of things and knowing how to direct people places, but I really want to be a well of knowledge and be good at some sort of technique, whether it be probably is going to be inside sewing and material use in applications of sewing. So just being a nice point of contact for that's a goal I want to have for Saturn. The woodworking stuff, the graphic design stuff, it's like, okay, I know some about it, but there's YouTube tutorials and all that kind of stuff. So it's like the atelier acts as a place for discovery, but I don't necessarily want to be the progenitor of knowledge in everything that you can do here. Like I need to learn a bit about the machines I have here, which is new because it used to be where I would get machines so infrequently that I would know everything about the sewing machine I have or the sander I have before anybody would even use it, so I could tell them, tips and tricks. Now I'm behind the ball on that, so I need to get really good at knowing my machines so that others can use them properly. And the last goal for Saturn is the plastic containers. I think they're a big jumping off point for exposure and just for synthesizing the Saturn ethos, where you have creativity, you have sustainability combined in a beautiful product such as a plastic container. So developing that mold and executing that and being a vendor and getting out there and showing Saturn to the world. That's a big goal. That's probably the first goal I have for the up and coming months, is just getting out on the streets and telling the beginners, because that's my target demographic, is a beginner making space. Like I don't necessarily want to cater towards developed, established designers, because most established designers have their own space. I mean, maybe they'll need to run over and use a heavy duty sewing machine, or need to put something together in the wood shop, but generally speaking, this is more for beginner designers. So I think being a vendor and having people walk by casually and telling them about Saturn, I think that's the best form of engagement we have, especially being really locally focused. I think that would be the best way to action. So atelier goals for the year. Number one, workshops. I think workshops is another great engagement point. Like and that's the thing about being expert. You take an expert, say in industrial design, and you have a workshop here, all of a sudden, even though they're here for industrial design, they're surrounded by all these other design. So while they're doing their workshop, their mind can kind of wander, or their mind can stay where they are, and they can learn from a fellow designer, and you're bridging those gaps. So I think workshops is number one goal for the atelier, and just kind of seeking that out and building out the atelier. With the kind of the number zero goal is just getting a porta-john as we seek to build out a more permanent restroom, change room area in the atelier for the next year. Having a place to use the bathroom is huge right now. And that's the little bit of hesitation I still have with trying to rent this place out for a workshop, is you need somewhere for people to use the restroom. That's pretty much it for the atelier. Obviously, attached to the atelier is the vendor booth, getting the word out, and learning the machines like I spoke on before, just so I can help others as they come in. Material, and by material I just mean the knowledge of materials, knowledge of techniques, knowledge around the city. So that includes the citizenship program. So the material goals, I want to add one design book a month to the library. Just get a nice curated book every month. And I think that'll boost interest in the library itself, and it'll just, at the end of the year I'll have 12 more great design books, and it'll just add on. And another goal is, obviously, I've kind of forgot about this goal, is reaching out to architecture firms and getting any old library books they have, any old material samples they have, and just kind of building up the Rita Design Library in multiple angles, books-wise, material-wise, just knowledge-wise. Citizen of the Month, that needs to happen. I want that to happen. I want a program. I haven't exactly designed it yet, but I want to have a program where I bring in a local designer every month. Maybe they, sketch something so it can be put on the wall or something to that effect, and give them a little grant every month. Cross exposure, for them, for me, every month would be awesome. And just to show the love, like this space is supposed to be a community center. This isn't all about Saturn. It's more of a knowledge center. Video nights. So I would like to, whenever I can, host a design video and just have a little get together, charcuterie board, but yeah, just have a little get together, talk design, watch a movie, have a little discussion. Simple, just something, continuing the theme of community building in this space. And design club meetings. So recently I started a clubhouse room for Charlotte, North Carolina designers. So I'd like to see that continue and possibly cross over into space, into in reality meeting. So in real life. So that would be awesome to kind of facilitate design meetings and design discussion as things open up more. Just see the space come alive. Like, this space is not for me. I don't need this much space. Most of the stuff that I've been building out for the past couple months hasn't necessarily been for my benefit. It's been just thinking about how I can make this a great experience for beginner designers or anybody who happens to come in here. So really excited for people to start feeling comfortable going out, and I'm just really excited for the next chapter of Saturn. So it's been a tough year, past year. It's been an eventful year for Saturn. It's been a good year. Just hoping to continue the energy, to continue to get more focused and honed in on how great the product that Saturn offers is, as well as the product that Atelier offers. So just kind of syncing those up and building each other up constantly, as well as getting more and more design collaboration and community interaction in here. Pretty much is what I want. And I hope to get it, and I hope to see you there. Thank you for watching, and it'll be a good year.